What's good, guys? My name's Jordan. I'm going to be starting up a new series. This series is going to be called Material Mondays. Essentially, I'm going to be trying to come out with some type of content, hopefully every Monday. If next couple weeks is going to be kind of tough with school, seeing as we're coming to exams, but we'll see how this plays out. First topic that we're going to be talking about is going to be depression. So, with regards to depression or major depressive disorder, is considered a mental illness which seems to be caused by a neurological issue when it comes to processing thoughts, certain situations. Those who are depressed tend to overthink, become extremely anxious, which can potentially lead to episodes of self-doubt, insecurity, loathing, loss of trust, etc. This is essentially displayed through emotions such as sadness and frustration, or like loss of interest, which used to be a priority to the person. Some types of depression are major depression, persistent depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, seasonal affective disorder. We also have psychotic disorder, peripartum or postpartum depression, and then situational depression. There's also a few other types, but those were the main ones that I came across. Some of the causes of depression. The main factor is going to be changes in brain chemistry. Factors that may implement that are going to be genetics, changes in hormone levels, certain medical conditions, stress, grief, or difficult life circumstances. Some of those might include financial situations, body composition, like someone's love life, relationships with family, as well as like say death of a loved one. Actually, some of the highlights that I found with regards to depression estimated that 21% of women and 12% of men will experience depression in their lifetime. 1 in 8 Canadians will experience an episode of depression at some point in their lifetime. Actually, that first stat was for the U.S. Research has also shown that 1 to 2 hours per week of exercise have reduced the risk of depression. And then for those who don't exercise, are 44% more likely to be depressed. Some of the symptoms that you essentially feel when you're depressed is feeling sad or feeling down, loss of interest in previously enjoyed activities, changes in appetite such as weight loss or weight gain, sleeping issues such as like sleep apnea, anxiety, that kind of stuff, loss of energy or increased fatigue, feeling worthless or guilty, difficulty thinking, concentrating, or making decisions, and then there's also to the extreme where you're thinking of potentially death or suicide. The main thing that I'm going to be talking about today is more or less exercise and how it can help with depression. So essentially, the benefits of exercise with regards to depression are it helps improve sleeping patterns. It lowers blood pressure and heart rate. High intensity exercise releases chemicals called endorphins, which results in an almost high-like feeling. Low intensity exercises spurs the release of neurotrophic factors, which are growth factors for nerve cells, which makes new connections, and then essentially that'll make you feel better in general. Always allows you to set a different mindset for like an hour to a day. With that being said, you can kind of stop focusing on whatever you have in the back of your mind, whatever's making you kind of feel sad, lonely, that kind of stuff, and essentially you can kind of take out that little bit of frustration on weights. You can listen to whatever kind of music you want, and essentially just kind of helps get a little bit of emotion out. So it could potentially lead to utilizing that mindset in other aspects of life, such as work, relationships, or even something as simple as like reading, cooking, or cleaning. So it's like you can kind of get into a mindset where it's like, okay, I gotta do this and I gotta get it done. Like essentially when I'm at the gym, I might not want to finish my workout, but like in my mind, I tell myself, if I do it, I will end up feeling better after. And essentially that kind of plays a role in like other aspects of my life as well. And then you also always have the chance to get used to being uncomfortable in what is usually a comfortable environment. So with that being said, you're gonna have to push yourself in the gym in order to get some stuff done, and especially if you want to see like significant results. Um, with that being said, you can apply that to other aspects of life. So say you're not comfortable with public speaking or talking in front of a camera. Say it kind of helps you in that sense. With regards to the exercise prescription, for resistance training, frequency-wise, you want to do it at least 2 days a week. Intensity, you want to start moderate, so anywhere from like 10 to 15 reps, 2 to 3 sets of all major muscles. And essentially, you want to begin with machines, and then you can introduce free weights, bands, body weight, barbells, that kind of stuff. As for the aerobic part, you want to try to get in 3 to 4 days a week. even up to 5. You want to start moderate to vigorous. Essentially, you can use like a talk test to monitor how the intensity. Anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes a day, or you can essentially do it all at once, or you can break it up into like 15, 10-minute intervals throughout the day. Saying essentially for the aerobic stuff, rhythmic exercises that include large muscle groups would do the trick. So anything such as like walking, cycling, swimming, any activities that you would enjoy. That's going to be the biggest thing, is like finding something that you would make you want to do it, rather than like it seeming like you're forcing yourself to have to do it. So that's going to pretty much it for the exercise portion with regards to depression. Now, I came across a few videos as well as some articles. As I mentioned earlier, depression stems from like a neurological condition. Not things that I came across is like confidence is more so a skill than it is a personality trait. With that being said, in order to be confident, you have to almost train yourself to be able to do it. It doesn't come naturally, and essentially people say, oh, I can't gain confidence. It's something that you can work on. The biggest thing is ending up like having an anchor moment, which is more so a moment of joy. If you have a moment of joy, it makes coming back to like a better state of mind a little bit easier. You can't necessarily choose how you feel, but you can control your thoughts and your behaviors, which essentially, once you do that, that leads to how you feel. On that, like touching on that topic, it's more so you think negatively, you're gonna end up feeling like sad. You think positively, you're bound to have like a little bit better of an outlook, regardless of what you're doing. And then you'll never actually feel like doing anything unless you're truly obsessed with it. That's actually been proven. Unless you're obsessed, you're never gonna actually want to feel like doing. You're not gonna want to get up. You're not want to go have to like do homework. You won't have to do like any cleaning at work, that kind of stuff. You have to put yourself in the mindset, in that driver's seat, to get stuff done. On that note, there's 2 different modes that you kind of go throughout the day. The first one's a default mode, which is considered like autopilot. It's been said that about the average person spends about 49% of the day on autopilot, which means you're not actually like thinking. It's your brain just doing it for you. You're on essentially more susceptible to like drifting your thoughts, going back to thoughts that you are trying to avoid, because it's like you're not actually taking control of your mind. The other mode is considered a direct mode, which is like manual. So say you have a car, you have manual and automatic. The manual, you actually have to do it yourself, where the automatic, it does it for you. So it's pretty self-explanatory. With that being said, you want to be able to repeat what you do. Essentially, it's going to end up being a habit. In order to do that, you have to be able to take control, change, and like I've done a little bit of research on my own, reading a few books and whatnot, and you can't actually rewrite habits. Old habits will always be there. That's why you see a lot of people tend to fall back into old loops, especially like alcoholics, drug users, that kind of stuff. They always fall back because it's always going to be there. You more or less have to find a new routine to change the result for like the cue that's kind of putting you back into that position. And essentially that's kind of where fight or flight comes in. With that being said, fight, you want to kind of take things head on. That's going to be the direct way. The flight is you'll constantly be thinking of the negative. You won't actually want to you'll try to get away from it, right? Again, that's going to be the default brain. The biggest challenge is being able to change your mindset per se. It's easier said than done, for sure. But a lot of the times it's being able to access your prefrontal cortex. That's going to be the biggest thing, because that's essentially where your creativity, all of your like imaginary thoughts are. And on that note, your brain doesn't actually know the difference between, say, your imagination, your memories, or like reality. They all kind of, your brain activity is the same for each event. It doesn't change, and it's been studied, it's been showed through like brain imaging. Essentially the same reaction inside the mind happens for all 3 stages. Essentially that's the extent of a little bit of the research that I found. I will be doing another video on habits just to kind of touch, I'm going to do a little bit more on my own research, and essentially, once I come up with that, hopefully I'll have a few more answers as to how habits play a role with um, your mental thought process. So anyways, thank you for watching. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.